The mysteries. Alright, we're back after some crash. Winding back a handful of days. Start of August. Let us repeat maneuvers. The initial pocket is already formed. Time for the follow-up. Balance of air power looking fine. Another consideration to have in mind is it looks like the Spaniards are starting to gain ground. Certainly be helped by causing a panic up north. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. What are you doing? What are these units that are trying to start a tussle? No. Don't. No, where are you going? Can't be going anywhere. It's not a real place. That's not in your jurisdiction. Up it. We're gonna end up with a bunch of lives wasted over this nonsense. Scraps of weirdness around access between belligerents. The British are allowed to just station a whole bunch of armor in Poland and fight us in Poland without Poland becoming involved one way or the other. Poland has simply agreed to be fought over. Very sporting of them.
Beep. Értettem.
Feet of Belgium again.
Utasítások. Fedezékbe vonulunk. Menj, menj, menj!
By the attention of the Hussars. North. South.
Indulásra kész.
And meanwhile, the linemen are still working on crunching in.
Kész. Taşra kész.
I don't want to train more police. Slightly less than all of more police. Some change. Soviets have once again declined to export oil. Quite rude of them. I'm driving up the board a little with this general offensive. There's not quite general offensive yet.
Parancsok.
Now it's a general offensive.
Kész.
Now even more so. Especially since we've kind of... with the capitulation there, we've kind of cheesed up the border.
Kész.
Alright, finally. Basic jet.
Kész. Parancsok.
now a large portion of the West Army. In fact, yeah, there's not going to be a continuation of the land front after we're done in France. So, Western Army Group becomes coastal defense and garrison. Police will be interior garrison, but coastal defense will be in the hands of these many, many, many infantry. And start rationing that out already. He'll clear up Denmark as well after this is done. First France, then we quickly have the Hussars stab their way up Denmark. We can start wrapping up other land fronts and eventually have ourselves a full sea wall in all directions. Now, like, fellows are absolutely responsible for guarding Wilhelmshaven.
Értettem. Utasítások.
Pull more folks out of here and up to there.
Kész.
Go, like, oh hey, you guys. Get this shitload of harbors that would be terribly vulnerable. Some sort of amphibious raid. Y'all better get comfortable. You live here now. Fortunately, the locals have been very courteous about pre-fortifying it.
Készen állok.
That nice of them.
Kész. Készen állok. Indulásra kész. Készen állok.
Look this over in detail. What are coastal province? Which of them have proper harbor? Ghent to Dunkirk looks to be the next stretch. Antwerp to Dunkirk. I'll include Antwerp in that slice, even though it's not itself a harbor.
Készen állok. Ne álljatok meg! Indulásra kész. Készen állok. Figyelj! Figyelem!
Next big Hussar move is to go through Dion. Finish cutting off that line.
Utasítások. Indulásra kész. Utasítások. Kész. Készen állok. Készen állok.
Hold on, where do you think you're going?
Utasítások.
Stay put. Oh, adventuring.
Utasítások.
We have Paris.
Utasítások. Készen állok. Utasítások. Figyelem!
Dortmund must be destroyed.
Figyelj! Figyelem!
Get their attention redirected here, where they can swoop down. Line army can crunch up against the line, and then they will run wild across the French countryside. Good times. The current dwindling manpower, fear not, this is an illusion. In just 1 month, all manner of alleged incapacitated casualties will be out to show the enemy exactly how helpless they are. Meanwhile, I can just, if I find myself in absolute man peril, I can skim recruitment a bit. For the moment, all is well. The siege of Dortmund will be expensive. Should all play out reasonably well. France, how you feeling? Completely out of bodies. Interesting. And most of this industry is probably in... Yes, France got custody of most of China. They got that because the Allies fought a sizable land war in Asia to defeat Japan, which they have since concluded. plan for bringing neutrality to the British is that we need to speak their language. We need to engage them on their terms. They are a people of the sea.
Kész.
Stop doing this.
Igyekez, igyekez, igyekez! Kész.
This remains absolutely unacceptable. This is not an edge. This is something that needs to be addressed architecturally. Okay, hostiles can stand on neutral ground and fight, interrupting your access to neutral ground. This is not something that would ever be permitted to stand. Such incidents would require someone to collapse onto a side one way or the other. Dormant has fallen. Let's see, get out the old and battle report here. So, regarding the month of August, 71,000 more fighting boys struck down in the line of duty. In exchange for yeah, a bit more so of the other guys. A lot more so. I believe overall, eyeballing it, we have added 1 million Allied dead over the course of that operation. What point does France collapse again? Very soon, because France still has terrible unity. Let's see at this point, how many uncollapsed Allied majors are there? Britain, France, America, India. "25 days till the wheels hit the field."
Parancsok.
The Swiss Council has maintained their serene isolation, and we can respect this. Of all the hearts we've met and torn from their living bodies to scatter their fluids across wide open fields, theirs have been the most neutral. Their ways are wise. There is much that can be learned. Lorraine has returned to us. British have tens of thousands of aircraft and shy of 200 boats. Probably around 150 boats. Americans bring a similar weight of ship and bird, slightly less on each count. Many unspent men, though. We're exporting due to constraints of the mechanics. This is automatic. Some amount of our resources must be up to trade, in the spirit of neutrality. We could only go to full closed economy if we were some manner modern controlled economy dictatorship. Such acts are not the neutral way.
Értettem. Készen állok. Utasítások.
I grab this lot. Them sent to a defense line up north. Prepare to extend across Normandy.
Figyelj! Sorakozó! Indulásra kész!
Plan to put an end to this. Gonna go ahead and near cancel the rest of these forts. They will no longer be necessary. We'll cancel the ones that didn't even get started. have so much building to do.
Sorakozó! Parancsok!
Alright, next move, Alpine Encirclement. Or at least out of the Hussars. Next move is Alpine. That itself will probably be disrupted. France is right on the edge. They recapitulate, we'll have all sorts of opportunity to just crunch forward. And there it goes. Welcome. Return to the loving embrace of neutrality.
Indulásra kész! Indulásra kész! Értettem! Kész! Készen állok! Figyelem!
I will leave all this business with boats.
Készen állok! Értettem! Sorakozó! Sorakozó! Készen állok! Parancsok! Figyelem! Figyelem! Készen állok!
Alright, let's get all these aircraft rebased. Turn into the fight zone. Thing handling North France should be in North France. Temporary service outage as they get repositioned. There they are. Some basic air coverage online there. Correct. South France. Alpine isn't going to be as much of a hot zone now.
Kész! Készen állok! Sorakozó! Parancsok! Kész! Értettem! Utasítások! Parancsok! Figyelj!
Convoy raids. What am I even convoy?
Parancsok!
Cavalry.
Kész!
Okay, fine. You guys exist over here in your own zone now.
Készen állok!
Main police force will never speak of the East again. That will fix this.
Utasítások! Kész! Értettem! Figyelj! Figyelj! Figyelem!
Right, this was the last, or among the last orders I had given the Tsars. And the Balkans, so they're all kind of distributing back residual positions. Some progress was made. I think we can cool off for a bit. At least wait until the new tech arrives.
Utasítások! Sorakozó! Figyelem!
Oh wait, also since German territory proper is now annexed, I don't need to garrison that at all. No longer an occupation of Germany. We are Germany. Wow. That's, a bit much. That's a concern. Our opposition has the atom. But we can't start adopting jet fighters soon enough. Portugal, send me all of your tungsten. Want a fresh radar out on our new western frontier to keep track. Inbound allies. Then we'll want a modern air defense grid over France. Uncle Otto wants every one of you safe and productive. And let's see, since those aren't producing anything anyway, go ahead and shut some of these lines. Oh wait, I should also take advantage of the opportunity to tune up the new... our unnamed mystery jet fighter model. Atoms. Fascinating.
Utasítások. Sorakozó! Kész! Parancsok!
And the remaining line infantry, and we'll set up a little watch line in the event that the Spaniards fall.
Kész!
Give that a moment to kick in. A month, maybe?
Értettem.
Jets stopped using oil for construction purposes in favor of tungsten, which we can get in abundance from ourselves and from our various helpful neighbors who still export things.
Készen állok.
Well, that was a productive summer.
Indulásra kész. Készen állok. Vigila!
Next maneuver is to remove Denmark. Also relax this up into a series of coastal defense lines instead of been a very small regular defense line. Swede wisely commits to remaining uninvolved. Something anomalous may have happened to our man math. Oh well. Now that we're not worried about training times, going back to extensive is fine. Wow! America, calm down. It's just Spain. America, have mercy. It's the Catalans. They were the other side of the Civil War. They very didn't want this. Bombing the wrong kind of Spaniard. They've gotten a bunch of ghost manpower from somewhere and been spending out of that. Hard to say. There is some weirdness about how man accumulates and depletes over time.
Keys.
Now I can turn up police recruitment for occupational purposes. Three mainland European campaigns left to run. Denmark, then Sicily, then the Balkans. We'll be out of land fronts, supposing Spain holds throughout that time. Then we sea lion. Gotta walrus our way over there. I phased out all regular fighter productions. All our standard fighters are going to gradually wear themselves out. And then ideally be supplanted by our new cutting-edge super aircraft. Conduct our first experimental flights in southern France. The new radar over in Brittany is slowly coming online.
Értettem.
Slightly overstuffed this airport. Some new aircraft ridden well. Yeah, if we want, we could engage an air battle over Spain without being involved directly in the Allied-Spaniard conflict. Our good and gentlemanly airmen would make sure to only engage properly identified opposing craft. There will be absolute adherence to our doctrine of aerial chivalry.
Figyelj! Parancsok. Utasítások. Sorakozó. Parancsok.
The stars are charging, ready? Remove Denmark. Uninstall Denmark. Like, that resolved, so y'all can head south and aid in further cleanup.
Értettem. Parancsok.
Have another 100 jets yet. Nearly. Sort of asserting a wing of those each month. Try for a little better. That's a lot of birds. They really want to be involved here. Very comfortably under our original radar bubble, though. Not yet. That's with all available lines running at like about half efficiency average. And Marcus Lane.
Értettem. Utasítások.
Hold on, all of you, because you aren't going over there. Important garrisoning to do.
Készen állok. Utasítások.
That looks to cover all the proper harbors.
Utasítások.
And that's what the Hussars still always chronically undersupplied on half-tracks. Never enough APCs.
Sorakozó.
Yes, that is some... Yeah, by the start, the Dutch have moved the capital temporarily into Sparta. What an adventure it's been. But of some other concerns. We have more green than we'll ever reasonably be able to feed. Already have refineries in those areas. Again. Unless I proceed to invent better refinery tech for the sole purpose of wrangling just a bit more oil out of a couple of states. Apparently the Soviets have managed to put together like 60 of both out of less than 20 shipyards. British running 50 yards, America running 60, 65. In terms of boat output, we're going to be very competitive. As long as we have materials to make those boats out of. Which won't be terribly difficult. We can always carve back land equipment once we've solved our main land fronts. The future is air and sea, but not air and sea as one thing, separate things.
Varancok.
Oh, that in mind, did have the Spaniards built themselves? If they did, it's gone now. A dozen shipyards, and they sure don't have any fighting vessels among them. So at least the big numbers add up there. 4.1 million available. 3.4 currently active, tied up in the army. 100,000 tied up in the Air Force. Close to correct. $600,000 discrepancy there, and that is about our casualties across the two wars. 360 from the Allies and 200 and something over the course of, the Dolph Krieg. This UI element is missing a total casualty count. That should be there in order to give you the proper full number. Damage to your units in the field does not propagate back to damage to the population ratings that your manpower is drawn from. Most of the former manpower surplus now lives in this army.
Utasítások.
60 divisions that I threw together off the cuff, stand around, dig ditches. The industry substitution we can do is switching from orange to green. The only way to get more oil refinery in Edgewise is if we had a way to remove normal factory outright. Don't think we do. Once economy is created, it stays there. Since I got a bunch of shipyards out of occupying France. Skim a few off of those build orders. Back on Afghanistan. If there was a deleting UI, I don't think it exists anymore. Converting. Alright, fighter deficit has begun. Time to start phasing out the old technology. Civil War in South Africa. Intriguing. Democratic, no elections. All the efficiencies on our production lines are revved up. We might be looking at like a fighter wing every week. Fair output. With all the construction going real good, backed up by our outlandish number. Let's adjust focus. What if instead, boat could have 3 capital ships every year? More than enough to contain any number of viewers. That's just 3 of the especially big ones. Once you count the large cruisers and the change alongside, that's like 8 large boats every year. And maybe someday smalls to accompany them. We can certainly dream. We have all the steel we need, just need more fuel. More chrome. By the tooltip, we should be getting our baseline 7% of 57 million people. It all seems to be in line. If that red X is supposed to be an option to actually remove a building, see, but here, influence or interface scaling might be throwing off the functions of this element. So I'm pointing here, but I'm pointing there, but I'm pointing here. There. The mysteries. The ongoing Vulcan's air skirmish is going to be where we get our first real test of our jet aircraft. And maybe in support of that, we're just going to go ahead and put a finger on the scale. Cannon in every village. Given the choice to get manpower back, I think stepping down mobilization is preferable. Back to mere war economy, and that did give some number back. Strangely little number. A lot of missing information to lay out how exactly your numbers work.
Figyelem!
Like, if anything, the next manpower concern is that we need to staff our navy. Boats need crew. Indeed. The Russians decided to stop exporting things again. Great. Thanks, Joe. Make up your mind about it, Joe. As far as our immediate needs, there is more chrome in the Balkans. Greece. More chrome, more aluminum. Further scraps of oil refineries in Sicily. Sicily, and the other Sicily. Of the two. Oh, I could also turn up the harshness. Spaniards managed to take Gibraltar. Fascinating. Good work. What a quality move. Alright, the jets seem to be starting to do their job. We're asking a bit, throwing them in here outnumbered like 4 or 5 to 1. 2 to 1 usually. That's why we made your bird twice as powerful. Oh, and some of them didn't even have proper missions yet. They were sitting idle. Well then. A bunch of them were just milling about. Alright, so it's starting to emerge at this point that now all the stuff they would have been putting in France is getting concentrated here. Gonna create great opportunities. Probably, yeah, the land past our line is pretty flat. An initial spike out. And we quickly run into more mountain problem. We're in the hills. Thin strip of flat land just along Bulgaria. Thought could be spike out there, then try to really go wild and reach the coast. Good breakthrough, because then we create a pocket out of Bulgaria, just all of it. Whole thing. Zone. Watch that, and then we have a nice narrow mountain range to try and slug our way through Greece. Well, we have our first fleet. Georg and the Helgoland. Dorothy, you have a navy again. Congratulations. 2 medium boat. Completely out of bodies in order to staff those boats. So there we go. The Navy. High requirement. Go to sea. Uncle Otto says it's about time you learn to swim. Eight capital ships and already 8 screens accounted for. Gonna end up with a pretty healthy fleet composition as long as I can keep all of these lines fed. Means finding more oil somewhere. Somewhere. Where could oil be? Somewhere. Some oil. What'd that oil be? First, we must settle these. Then, as a means to settle these, we may have to settle these. I mean, if Joe doesn't want to sell me his perfectly good surplus oil, I'd buy your oil, Joe. This isn't really doing anything, so let's cut that out. Free up some additional oil once we're able to get the jet bombers running. Eventually, after a very extensive research program where we need to first invent every preceding less advanced air, we need to We need to learn what a mid-size aircraft even is before we can think about strapping a jet engine to it. And we'll save all kinds of oil. Oil and aluminum. Price of creating further demand for tungsten. Where am I gonna find more tungsten? Who has tungsten? Where could my war materials be? Portugal does have a great degree of tungsten. And they're selling all they're able. Well, selling within reason. And they have quite graciously not involved themselves with any of our enemies, so that's the best we can do. The Neo-Ottomans are providing an abundance of chrome. Good on them. Sure, they're grateful to have someone who wants to buy chrome. Nobody does that. Third boat, third boat, third boat. Our first standard-sized battleship. The Get-Off. Yeah, at this point, the name Neo-Ottoman Empire is not accompanied by putting an Osman in charge. Presumably something that will be filled in once there is a Turkish tech or focus tree. The old to-do list. Our enemies spending 10,000 equipment a month in exchange for some spam and an old boot. One bent shovel. Spain doesn't have a unique tree yet. Spain is still running on generics. They have an event chain to do the Civil War. And some AI modifiers that click in as a side effect of that. Also, let's see here. Army-wise, AA guns are advancing. About half and half top quality versus last generation. Artillery, similarly. Pretty good rate of adoption for the good shit. Including a fair number of stolen Tier 3 guns. Fried up during the occupation. All cutting edge. Don't think we have any legacy small arms left in active service. Half-tracks are mostly the good stuff. Trucks is trucks. Mostly domestic models. Shovels is all the same. Foldy. And the Autopad. Our main modern fighting vehicle. That all under review for a while, so we can start. Okay, yeah, we have. We have a lot of extra tanks, including 4,000 stolen foreign mediums that we aren't using. Let's see, for resource conservation. Completely knock out this extra MBT line. Bringing up a bunch of chrome. And with all the steel we have, extra small arms is actually, like, kind of our one good sink of additional green industry. More small arms, more AA guns. What else would we do with all this steel? Or shovels, since aluminum is also abundant. Bigger. More of bird. Bird louder. Could give away a bunch of our old gear. At no point has our grievance been with Spain. over the next couple of months, I'd like to send you a bunch of hand-me-down equipment. Enjoy. Afghanistan is nearly finished crumpling. Training wars. Right, the Japanese-Soviet War is being continued by the Spaniards on their own, with no involvement from any Japan, in exile or otherwise. German War being continued against the Spaniards, with no involvement of any of the Germanies. South African Civil War is ongoing and has yet to involve any foreign powers. And then there's us. The Hungarian reclamation of Emilia. Ratio remains strong. Down to 63 to 1. However, in exchange for extensive gains. Alright, everything gets anti-aircraft guns. The finest. Cutting edge, upward facing, or direct fire light artillery. Right, our police are already dripping with AA guns for garrisoning purposes. Oh, that's probably why I wound up in a mech equipment deficit again. I decided to harden the police a little. I think I can revoke that decision. Police don't need to be doing any fighting anymore. Right, nice upper hand forming in the local. Need to phase out more of Bird Classic. Favor of Cyberbird. Alright, our land doctrine completed. With the discovery of werewolves. Powerful allies. Our first super ship is not yet ready. Second of each cruiser. Full pair of destroyers. Boat is near. Slowed back down by needing to go to requirement. Wrong yo.
Utasítások! Indulásra kész! Utasítások!
Modern tanks are okay.
Figyelj!
They bring some improvements to the table. Does the Republic of Italy have as much unity Benito's Italy would? Mostly yes. Unfortunate.
Értettem! Utasítások!
That sounded much larger than a sewer rat.
Utasítások!
Like quality infiltration going on. And wow, yeah, the mech units are just completely outrunning everything else on the field. This is future war. We have mobility doctrine and a mobile army that can shock their way through anything. Oh look, they're soft targets, adorable. Crush them.
Utasítások! Készen állok! Sorakozó! Utasítások!
We mastered the art of overwhelming defense. None will surpass us. More boatyards. 4 spare boatyards. Those into convoy. Put them into low priority convoy. The actual war fleet gets first crack at all fuel supplies.
Figyelem! Utasítások. Parancsok. Indulásra kész.
You create an unbreakable barrier, and then you attach an engine to it and slide it towards the enemy.
Tarts távolságot.
Okay, crossing a strait. Our tanks are less than great at. That they can hold off on. We'll want to build up some special forces footmen. That is the job they are suited for. Tanks are not amphibious.
Haladás tovább. Utasítások. Készen állok.
There we go. There's the Bulgaria plan. Which is the heart of the overall Balkan plan. Two-pronged attack. Shore, our nice mountain line, the other shore, and establish a death hole from which none will escape. Except these guys. These guys will be able to escape. They can just walk into Romania and then hopefully fuck right off to the other side of the world. Then, after we have resolved all of these, then we can start to consider punishing Joe for his antics. There will be no more of your pranks. Fought our way up to 1,000 jet fighters in the field. Slowly replacing all the old prop planes. Spain, how you doing? Could give Spain all the old propeller planes at some point. And there's that new radar. Screaming out into the ocean. You can hear most of Britain.
Csatlakozó! Utasítások! Kész!
I want to get a bunch of regular infantry to pour in and garrison all of this, freeing up Yodel Corps to plan for an assault on Sicily. And then it's just preparing for the Balkan maneuver, followed by, let's call it prospecting. Because man, we still need not as much oil as we did before, but a fair amount of oil. Other item on the big list of features coming soon. Being allowed to lend lease away things you didn't build, and to just throw out equipment that you have zero use for. Push it into the ocean. Find the deepest hole in the land. Well, the year is 1948. These have been productive times. Order and prosperity reach farther every day. There are ongoing air battles over several of our zones. Mostly here, where our jets are increasingly imposing themselves as kings of the sky. So it was. The future is born. Behold, Mars, bringer of neutrality. Grace and moderation. But with a gun. Remain neutral.